Well, I lived with my mom, my biological mom, and we kind of just surfed across the country in homeless shelters and soup kitchens and landed in Colorado Springs. And when I was 8, 9 to almost 10, I lived at the Salvation Army off Sierra Madre until I was put into foster care. And I had 3 foster homes. My 3rd foster home adopted me at 14. And that's when I started going to Lewis Palmer High School and Monument. They really gave me a huge chance at life, and I'm just ever so grateful. But I was always a very hard worker. I could not wait to work. At 15, as soon as I got permission to work, I started working, and I would spend my summers working and saving up money. One summer in high school, I worked 3 jobs at the same time. And I moved out of the house as soon as I could at 19 years old and graduated early with extra credits in English and science. So I was a little bit behind because I actually didn't go to full-time school like a normal child until I was in foster care. So I started school really at 4th grade.
Wow.
So I ended up graduating at 19. I was a little bit behind, but I ended up making sure I worked to get ahead, if that makes sense. And so then I started being a makeup artist in retail. I think that really bridged the gap professionally to get me into modeling. But I was in, let's see, like 2005, I was getting some big tattoos put on. And so I was walking for my tattoo artist out of Colorado Springs in tattoo competitions and tattoo expos and stuff here. And a group of people found me called the Iron Angels. And these are girls who posed on very rare custom-made bikes all across the United States. And they're like, you're great for us. You'd be perfect. So jump on board. They put me in their calendar, and they would fly us out to different biker rallies where we could sign the calendars and just sell the calendars too. But that gave me the start that I needed to a portfolio to sign on with a professional agency who is Donna Baldwin out of Denver.
Nice. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, let's start a little bit further back because there's a lot there that you just said, especially like K through 12. Yeah. Obviously, it was like really 4th grade through 12 for you.
Yeah.
How was that adjustment? I mean, obviously, like going through like foster families and stuff, I know that could be very tough. My business partner for my marketing company just fostered a son at, I think he's not, actually fostered him at 6. And then they finally got like everything done when he was 7. But he's talked about like just the integration into his family. It's their only child too. So it wasn't like they're being integrated into like a family of other kids, other siblings. But it's been a beautiful thing to see, but it's also been, the transition can be very tough for the child too. Was that similar to you as well?
I'm very easygoing, and even as a child, I just really wanted to be a good kid and please people and follow the rules and stuff. So I think that really helped. My mother taught me how to love. She was a very loving person. And so I think that really set me up for success being in new environments. And so, yeah, you'd be surprised randomly going to a new person's house and being expected to understand the new routine and the new rules. Everybody actually lives quite differently, even though it's kind of similar. Like we all have breakfast and we all have dinner, that type of thing. But at the same time, there's a quick adjustment period that needs to happen in order to be successful. But I actually feel like that taught me a lot of great life lessons because I ended up marrying into the military, my best friend's army, and we ended up falling in love in our mid-20s, even though we knew each other in high school. And so just the same kind of thing is applying where we have 22 months to 24 months in a new place. So you better hit the ground running, figure out your market, make your friends, do your thing as fast as you can, and then you can enjoy that establishment for longer if you can establish it quicker, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You said you went through 3 foster homes when you first?
I did.
Why was that?
So the first foster home that kids usually are put into is kind of a transition homing. It's a place where they tend to stay. I think we were only supposed to be there for a month, and I think I was there for 3 months. But it's basically like a temporary housing until they can find something that's more stable for you. The second home I was in, they were going through some personal issues and ended up getting a divorce. And they were so sad and wanted to keep me, but it wasn't a stable situation. And so they had to send me along. And then the third home that I was in, they were not able to have babies themselves. And so they had been waiting to adopt. And I do have a brother who was adopted, and he was there already.
Oh, nice.
They adopted him as an infant. And so I came into the situation with a teenage brother.
Yeah.
And I think that they didn't completely know what to expect. It's really hard to understand the state and their processing and all the hoops you have to jump through in order to gain custody, or the support you need to provide, with an attitude and an understanding that the biological parents do have chances to get the children back. And I think that was a little challenging, but they never gave up.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And then so you're transitioning with a new family, and you're starting school almost from scratch at an older age.
Yeah.
How was the school adjustment? Because I'm assuming these kids are reading and writing,
Yeah.
probably learning cursive, whatever it
Yeah.
might be. Was that a hard adjustment for you as well?
So thankfully, one of the things that are a beautiful free resource is the library. And so my biological mom and I spent a lot of time in the library reading, and it was our entertainment. It was our together time. And so I wasn't completely illiterate, although I was far behind. And there was a lot of catching up to do. I'm sure it required a lot of patience from my teachers. But I also had a very street attitude. And so I was ready to defend myself in any way I needed to. I was very rough coming into a situation where the kids were, it was a different culture.
Yeah, it was a little bit more affluent area too that you moved into, because we were just talking before the
Affluent,
show of
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
North Gate, and that area where you grew up is it's a very affluent area for sure.
It was more upper middle class housing. So it was definitely an adjustment. I remember on career day, they said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be a maid," because my mom taught me how to clean and how to be very honest and not steal and stuff like that. My mom had awesome ethics and morals. And so she was basically just trying to teach me how to survive. That's, baseline. And so when career day came around, they're like, "Well, we have a little bit of concern about your mind frame. We'd like you to aim higher than that." And not to say that that's not a great job. It's lucrative and it's good. But they just wanted me to kind of shift my mind frame from poverty and the streets to